but a lot of these close games, they could have taken advantage. You mentioned how the Ohio Christian game was kind of decided with about 10 minutes left. Those other games went to overtime and whatnot. IWU led the majority of, so we'll see if they figured out how to finish a game tonight here in this MCC opener.
So Marian wins the tip. Number 14, Aaron Evans, pulls it down, is dribbling to the right-hand side around Peters. Gets it into Dwight Cliff, number 44, who runs into the wall of Patrick Hopkins. Back to Evans, trying to drive on the inside of Jones. Flipping it out to number 12, Alex Sylvester. Guarded closely by Troyer. Peters picks him up. Sylvester now having on 2 seconds on the shot clock, and they're not going to get it off, or at least they barely get it off in time. Not a good way to start for the Knights.
Yeah, exactly what IWU needed. 30 strong seconds of defense now. Looks like we're going to see a turnover on their end, though.
Not a good way to start for the Wildcats. George Jones driving on the inside, giving it up on the turnover. Now number 30, Just Chadwell, bouncing it on the inside. Dwight Cliff getting the shot.
IWU is going to have to limit their turnovers tonight. They gave up over 24 to Ohio Christian on the game last week. They've got to limit those turnovers today if they want to stay in this one.
Peters on the left-hand side, staying over there, getting into Hopkins, backing in, over to Aaron Martin. You've seen Aaron be a great three-point shooter. George Jones going to the hoop for the first basket.
Yeah, to give credit to Aaron Martin on that one, getting the player up in the air, was able to drive. The defense attracted to him, and George Jones was open under the basket for a layup.
Sylvester now double-teamed by Troyer and Peters, and they get a jump call. The possession arrow right now is in favor of the Wildcats, and so the Wildcats will get it. One of the interesting things, Tim, to see tonight is Jordan Widener is on the bench with an injury, so George Jones early filling the role that Widener often plays, going in the inside early.
Yeah, this Wildcat team is one of the very deep. We've seen multiple players score more than 15 points to lead this team. We'll see if David Peters, maybe it's his night to show up and lead this team. Whoever it is, the Wildcats will be able to handle it.
Ref said the ball went off the fingertips of Sylvester, so the Wildcats continue to hold on to it. 20 seconds left on the shot clock. Troyer over to Jones, not the best of passes, but George holds on to it. Tossing it out to Peters, drives down on the baseline. Jones for three, it's good.
Another inside-out action there. That last time you saw Aaron Martin drive and go inside. This time the drive leads to an open three, and George Jones off to a fast start here for the Wildcats.
He has 5 points, which is exactly what the Wildcats has, so he has accounted for all of the scoring so far. Sylvester pulls up, nice shot. Pull-up jumper, good.
Sylvester is one to watch for the Knights. Him and along with Aaron Evans will be the 2 main scoring threats for the Knights this evening.
George Jones now on the outside. Nice move getting around the defender. Pulls up, no good. Rebounded by number 40. That's Jake Stafford. He throws a bad pass. Derek Troyer now coming back. Aaron Martin for 3. Overshoots the shot.
Looks like that ball might have got tipped when Aaron Martin went up for the 3-point basket.
Got Evans on the outside now. Patrick Hopkins comes out over to Sylvester. It's Chadwell taking a long three-pointer. It's good, so just like that, both teams get to 5 in a similar fashion.
Yeah, if you give any of these Knights shooters open space, they will knock shots down like that. IWU's got to keep their defensive intensity up no matter where the ball is at.
And Martin trying to get it inside to Hopkins. The pass was just a little to the outside, and we have another turnover.
Yeah, IWU trying to get inside there to Hopkins. A little bit of kind of might have been a hold. Ref didn't call it. IWU's going to have to fight through the adversity and try to still maintain possession of the ball.
So the Wildcats have 2 turnovers already in the first 3.5 minutes of the game.
And Mark, that's something we talked about, that they have to limit tonight because a team like Marian is going to capitalize on mistakes like that.
Both teams with good ball movement. Sylvester tossing it out. Now Evans has got it. He drives, and unfortunately, Aaron Martin was moving, and so that foul is going to be on number 30, Aaron Martin.
Yeah, when the Knights player made the drive attempt, it looked like he might have thrown a little bit of a shoulder, but Aaron Martin was not set, therefore the blocking foul was called.
And Indiana Wesleyan will take the ball.
Yeah, just as soon as we mentioned Aaron Martin struggling, there he comes up with a defensive tip to get the loose ball. And as he was going to the floor trying to get it, the Knights player shoved him. Automatic loose ball foul to be Wildcat ball.
That foul is on number 44, Dwight Cliff. He's the freshman from Indianapolis. Wildcats have already substituted, so inbounding the ball will be number 12, Taylor Schoen. DJ Bettinger, number 13, also in for the Wildcats. And Jones, Hopkins, and Troyer out on the floor, joining Bettinger and Schoen.
We'll see how the bench will play tonight with the injury of Widener. They're going to have to come up and play even more minutes. We'll see how they'll adapt to tonight's game.
Jones out on the side, back over to Bettinger. While the Wildcats have been running their offense, three-pointer by Troyer missed. They still haven't gotten into an offensive rhythm yet early in this game.
Yeah, a lot of outside shots so far. They're not really working too much on the inside. They're going to have to try to do better with that with Hopkins on the offensive end.
And number 23, Derek Troyer, charged with the foul. That is his first, the team's second. And we're going to have a timeout called by the Wildcats. 15:27 remaining. It's a full timeout. We'll be back. You're watching Wildcat basketball on WIWU TV. And welcome back to Lucky Arena on the campus of Indiana Wesleyan University. We are 4.5 minutes into this game between the Wildcats of Indiana Wesleyan and the Knights of Marian University. In those 4.5 minutes, we've had a total of 10 points scored. It is 5-5. Both teams struggling to find an offensive rhythm.
Yeah, it's been interesting to see how the teams adapted. These teams know each other well from the conference, obviously, and trying to get back into a rhythm here.
Cliff being guarded. And has a nice move. He's being guarded by Parker Stauffer. Stauffer had been out a number of games with an injury. He is back and seeing some playing time tonight.
Yeah, that was a nice spin move there by the Knights player to get the open lane for the layup.
And Dwight Cliff coming up with the ball. Marian calling a 30-second timeout. So they good heads-up play on the part of the player. Dwight Cliff. That makes, for the Indiana Wesleyan Wildcats, that's at least their third turnover on the evening. I think, Tim, we have seen, I'm not sure this is about the same of what we've seen so far from the Wildcats this season. At times, a lot of sloppy play, resulting in a lot of turnovers. And I think you mentioned a little bit ago, especially in the tough MCC, we can't afford to have as many turnovers as we have. Now, we haven't lost the turnover battle. We've always been way ahead in the turnovers in the first 6 games.
Yes.
But things are not, actually both teams are tied with 3 turnovers apiece.
Well, the one thing the Wildcats can do to help them in the turnover battle is create defensive pressure while on their the defensive end of the floor. When the ball's in somebody's hands, you come up, you get close to the player and get them agitated.
That foul is called on number 24, Parker Stauffer. That is his first. That is the team third. So the Knights will inbound the ball, get the ball to Cliff. Out to Evans. Evans into Cliff. Nice pull-up jumper, no good. Rebounded by Bettinger, who brings the ball down. Jones on the right and left-hand side, and we're going to get a foul called on away from the ball on the inside. And that foul is going to be called on number 44, Dwight Cliff. That is his second. And so we're going to see him take a seat on the bench. Not a good thing with 14:33 remaining in the half already to pick up your second foul.
Yeah, that's the one thing IWU can take advantage of. If they attack the inside, you get Knights into foul trouble, really can come to their advantage.
George Jones on the inside. He puts up a shot. He gets fouled. Doesn't make the basket. And that foul will be on number 40, Jake Stafford. That is his first, team third. Jones will be going to the line, shooting 2.
Now you saw not 1, not 2, almost 3 or 4 different pump fakes by Jones there. He's trying to get the Knights player in the air. Finally did, and when the Knights player went in the air, Jones created the contact, got the foul call, and now trying to seal the points at the line.
Jones with his second shot. He has all 6 of the Wildcat points, so very early here we can see that we got to get some of the other guys in on the scoring if we're going to have a good attack tonight.
And give credit to the Knight defense at this point, too. They're limiting a lot of the inside presence. Some of the Wildcats are going to have to try to figure out here if they want to get more people on the board.
And the Knights are not playing right now with a very big lineup. That's the interesting thing. We've gone up against bigger teams, and then we actually have the size advantage at this point.
Yeah, the one thing the Wildcats are ineffective at right now is getting in front of players, sliding in front. There you saw on that foul by Martin. He didn't get his feet in front of the Knights player, therefore they was able to slip around, and a little hip check got the foul call, and that's a big loss for the Wildcats as well.
Yeah, Aaron Martin, that's his second foul of the evening. We saw in game 1 of the season he got into foul trouble and fouled out and was ineffective in the game. But he's had some other games where he has scored in the 20-point range. Evans up with the shot, no good. David Peters now in. Also, Zach Vanderwater, number 32, he is in for the Wildcats.
See the Wildcats trying to work it inside to Stauffer inside the paint here.
Vanderwater over to Bettinger. It's an interesting lineup that the Wildcats have. Not what you would call their strongest offensive lineup at this point. However, Stauffer with a nice strong move under the basket for 2.
Yeah, Stauffer stuck with it there. He seemed to be in a little bit of trouble too far under the basket, was able to slip under, and a nice reverse layup there by Stauffer.
Evans now getting the offense set up for the Knights. He drives to his left. Stauffer jumps in. Peters on him, so we put a stop to that. Kick the ball out to Sylvester. He drives, can't get on the inside. I think the Knights are having a difficult time getting to the inside as the Wildcats are. 5 seconds on the shot clock. And a pull-up jumper with just a couple seconds left by Stafford, no good. Wildcats bring the ball down. DJ Bettinger onto the inside to Schoen. Trying to get into the inside to Stauffer. He can't, so he kicks it out to Vanderwater. Now, DJ Bettinger driving to the inside. Probably would have been better served to go ahead and take that layup rather than try to dump it off to Stauffer, but nevertheless, that was his decision.
Yeah, one too many passes there for Bettinger. If he would have went up, probably had a clean look at the basket. Instead, the Wildcats catch a break and will have the ball out of bounds.
David Peters will now inbound the ball. Patrick Hopkins back in. The ball is tossed out to him, almost stolen, but Hopkins is able to hold on to it. Peters drives to the right-hand side. It's shut down, so Greathouse is in, and he takes his first 3, and it is good.
Yeah, a little inside-out action there again. Peters with the drive. They left Greathouse, and that's what he's known for, making threes. Nice shot there by Greathouse.
Good to see Greathouse getting in on the three-point action early for the Wildcats. Number 12, Sylvester driving, getting it inbounds to number 40. Jake Stafford has a nice move on Vanderwater, gets the basket.
Mark, one of the things I'm noticing in the paint is that the Knights players are very much quicker than the Wildcats are. They've got to somehow change that up with their defense.
Vanderwater takes a 3, it rims out and no good. The Knights are coming down now on offense. Chadwell on the inside, he dumps it off to Stafford, who gets it into Dickerson. And we're going to get a foul, it looks like, on number 33, Patrick Hopkins. Oh, no, it's called on number 32, Zach Vanderwater. That's his first, team 5th. 2 more fouls to give before we kick into the bonus.
Yeah, and the Knights continue to attack this inside. They've done it with quick spin moves to get around the Wildcat players. That time, a very aggressive move by number 50, Dickerson. So the Knights are starting to work on the inside presence here a little more.
Dickerson is a freshman, 6'7", from Evansville, Indiana. That, if you look down this, you can see this move. He has a nice strong move to the basket, and just Patrick Hopkins can't do a whole lot to get out of his way. If you look at this roster for Marian, all but 2 of their players are from the state of Indiana. So Marian doing a good job of recruiting in-state, getting a lot of good athletes from Indianapolis and around the state.
Yeah, probably half of this team, Mark, is from Indianapolis itself, so there's a lot of home cooking going on for the Knights.
Derek Troyer now bringing the ball up, getting a little bit of pressure by number 10, Tyler Kleinschmidt. And unfortunately, Greathouse not paying attention to Troyer. And the ball goes out of bounds, and it'll go back to the Knights.
Yeah, I think that was something that where Greathouse should have been there as part of the offense and just kind of a miscommunication there. The game may be tied, but the Wildcats are kind of struggling with ball control at this point. Their defense is keeping them in it at this point.
Sylvester bringing the ball up. Nice spin move by Stafford. Gets a shot, no good, rebounded by Hopkins. Derek Troyer bringing the ball up on the right-hand side. Over to Peters, Hopkins, Jones back in the game. Greathouse driving, nice soft touch on the ball, and the basket is good.
You see the outside game by Greathouse there. You see the inside game. Nice drive and a floater for the big man. Nice jumper there by him.
Aaron Evans bringing the ball up, guarded by Peters. Moving the ball over to the right. He pull-up jumper, and it's good. I suspect this is one of the reasons why we got to keep an eye on Evans and that he can be such a high scorer is that pull-up jumper. Hopkins really outside of his range. Greathouse rebound. Hopkins coming in. Great job on that rebound.
Yeah, extra effort getting the offensive rebounds there. May not have been the best three-point attempt by Hopkins, but give him credit for getting back on the boards and getting the offensive possession.
Marian not doing a good job of boxing out at all. The ball is tossed in to number 50, Dickerson. He gets the basket.
Yeah, way too easy on the inside there as Hopkins was trying to front him. No backdoor help, easy bucket for the Knights.
Troyer bringing the ball up, and he throws it once again. Greathouse looks like either he was in the wrong position or there just simply wasn't a communicating between the two. But that's the second turnover in the last minute where Troyer has thrown to Greathouse, and he's not there.
I think a lot of it is the defensive pressure. You see the Knights players right on top of Troyer as he's bringing the ball across and then trying to dribble the offense out. That pressure is going to lead to some panic, and you've seen it now a couple of times with some errant throws by Troyer.
Ball coming to the inside. Sylvester with the turnaround jumper, no good. Nice rebound by Jones, pushing the ball up court. He keeps driving, he kicks it out to Bettinger, almost stolen. Bettinger with a three-point attempt, no good. Rebound by Dickerson, tossed out very quickly to Evans. And lots of shots flying, none dropping.
Tempo has definitely picked up here, Mark, in the past minute or so.
Greathouse getting it out to Jones on the left-hand side. Jones into Hopkins. The ball doesn't quite make it. It's stolen by number 40, Stafford.
Need a stronger entry pass by Jones on that one. A little weak as he's kind of falling away from Hopkins when he made the pass.
Evans with the ball over on the left-hand side. Hopkins comes out momentarily, causes him to change direction. He pulls up. No good. Rebound by Hopkins. David Peters with the ball. And we're going to get a timeout just to slow things down. Coach Tonigal not likes it in three-point percentage. At this point, it's way too early in the game to worry about those percentages.
Yeah, but about 12 minutes in now, you've seen that this game is going to be probably close throughout. This is exactly what we expected. Marian Knights 5-0 coming in, IWU 6-0. Both of these teams receiving votes in the NAIA poll. This one's going to be a barn burner here in Lucky.
DJ Bettinger now bringing the ball up, getting the ball over to Peters, who tosses it over to Stauffer. Stauffer was nice and open, and unfortunately that pass was just a little too long. Had it been more on the money, he would have had a wide open layup under the basket.
Yeah, the touchdown pass was just had a little bit too much loft on that. Stauffer unable to get complete control of it. And another turnover for IWU. They've got to limit those.
Kleinschmidt bringing the ball up. This is now Sylvester. Dickerson on the outside, dribbling against Stauffer. Schoen comes in to kind of keep him honest. Back out to Stafford. Kicks it over to Sylvester. And Kleinschmidt has a free drive to the basket. No good. Second offensive rebound in this series. Blocked by Stauffer. And finally, the Wildcats pick it up. David Peters bringing the ball down court. Oh, what a nice fake to Jones. And then he just is able to take it right into the lane.
Yeah, nice ball fake there by Peters to kind of stop the bleeding for the Wildcats. Hadn't scored in almost 3 minutes. Good bucket by him, but they've got to limit the offensive rebounds on this end. They got very lucky. The Knights did not get a bucket on the last trip.
This in spite of the fact that just a few minutes ago during that timeout, we could see that the Wildcats were out rebounding the Knights. Stafford out at the top of the key to the right-hand side, guarded by Schoen. He hands off to Sylvester. Back to Stafford. Back to Kleinschmidt. And they're going to call a shot clock violation, so that'll be a turnover. We saw the Knights earlier in the game coming very, very closely to that, but this time they violated that shot clock. We're going to take a break. You're watching Wildcat Basketball on IWU TV 51. Schedule for the Wildcats, and actually the first one for the Marian Knights as well. Both teams coming into this game undefeated. Wildcats 6-0 and the Knights 5-0.
And both the teams are showing it on the floor at this point. It's been a very even contest. A little sloppy play by both, but strong defense on both sides as well. You saw there also.
Well, we're going to get a foul on number 41, just new into the game, Eric Harris, freshman guard. One of the things, Tim, besides the fact that this team is primarily from Indiana, this is a pretty young Marian team as well.
Yeah, not a lot of seniors on this roster. I'm looking right now, just two overall for the Knights this year.
This team has already received some votes in the preseason NAIA polls. George Jones with a nice move. George has an ability to kind of hang up there for a while. That was on display in that move.
Yeah, he drove to the basket, went up, got the Knights player up with him, was able to create the contact, and here we go, George Jones at the line for two more.
So that was, the foul was committed by number 14, Aaron Evans. That is his first, the team fifth. Both teams have settled down in the very early part of the game. There were a lot of fouling going on. Here's George's strong move to the basket.
Yeah, very good hang time there by Jones to hang that long.
The second shot is good. So it's 19-15. Wildcats with 6.5 remaining in the first half. Kleinschmidt. Number 14, Aaron Evans, their high scorer in their last game. Or actually, he's the leading scorer on the season, second highest in the last game. Sylvester was the leading scorer in their last game. Stafford kicking back to their freshman who has just come into the game. He's picked up a foul, and now he has been called on traveling. And not a really great way for the freshman to get into this game.
Yeah, Coach Grimes not happy on the Marian Knights bench. He wanted that ball to be swung, not once, but twice he screams on the floor. The player ignored it, and it led to a turnover for the Knights.
Derek Troyer bringing the ball up, guarded closely by Kleinschmidt. Peters now on the right-hand side, guarded by the freshman Harris. And the basket is good. Patrick Hopkins.
Yeah, nice entry pass by by Peters to Hopkins, and then Hopkins had an open lane for a nice layup.
Biggest lead of the night for the Wildcats, or for either team as far as that goes, 6 points.
Yeah, and we're pushing now over 4 minutes. The Knights have yet to get a bucket.
Evans tossing it into Cliff, who is back in the game. He moves into the inside with a nice layup, bouncing around a little bit.
Yeah, he was kind of given that bucket there when Schoen tried to get the foul, wasn't called, and had a clean lane for a layup.
Sorry, that basket was actually by Dickerson, not Cliff. Cliff is on the bench with 2 fouls.
Yeah, that pass there that was turned over by the Wildcats was a textbook, a nice player, nice tip to get the steal.
Patrick Hopkins as well as Vandewater there to tip the ball around, get the rebound. David Peters into Hopkins, who wasn't quite balanced. Nevertheless, he is going to be fouled. That foul is on number 10, Tyler Kleinschmidt. That's his first. And they're going to give Patrick 2 shots. Basically say he was fouled in the act of shooting.
Very late call by the officials, but the Wildcats will take it. None of the Knights players were stopping the ball. It led to a fast break opportunity, and the Wildcats take advantage of it.
Hopkins makes his first free throw. David Peters goes out. George Jones in. Harrison Kleinschmidt taking a seat for the Knights. Also in now is number 31, Chris Roberts for Marian. Hopkins' second shot, no good. Rebounded by number 50, Dickerson.
Hey, blue, Aaron, blue.
Evans kicking the ball back out to number 30, Jess Chadwell. He gets fouled, and the basket counts. That foul is going to be on number 33, Patrick Hopkins, his first.
Yeah, as soon as George Jones tried to make the steal, it kind of set the Wildcat defense off running around, and they were never able to catch up. Finally got inside of the paint, and Hopkins out of position, had the foul called.
Chadwell to the line. He shoots one, misses it. Rebounded initially by the Knights, but the Wildcats get the ball back. Troyer bringing the ball up. He now goes and gets the offense set up. Wants to get it to Jones, and he does. However, unfortunately, Chadwell saw that coming.
Yeah, Wildcats, if they're going to try to get into their offense, they've got to throw crisp passes. There you saw Troyer with just kind of one hand throwing it to Jones. That's not going to cut it in conference play. They've got to be crisp, clean passes to each player.
Taylor Schoen inbounding the ball to Troyer, and unfortunately on that last play, Tim, I think everybody in the gym knew that he was headed over to Jones. Hopkins back to Troyer. He drives in the lane. No big guy in the lane. He puts the ball up. Hopkins rebounds. Tries to put it up. No good. Dickerson comes down with it. He gets the ball back to Chadwell, who comes to the center to set up the play for number 12, Alex Sylvester. Chadwell drives. Jones is able to strip it away. He's bringing the ball down the court. He takes it all the way. Right-handed layup. It's good.
This first half has definitely been the George Jones show. Now with 10 points, he's definitely carried this offense with Widener out tonight because of injury.
Evans coming in. The ball is stripped by Schoen. Another turnover. However, it's going to be batted away by Chadwell. However, Troyer comes up with it. Out to Schoen, who comes across to Vandewater, inside to Hopkins. Turnaround layup. It's good.
Pass was a little uneven there, got in Hopkins' head, but Vandewater was able to get it to him. Hopkins was able to turn around and a bucket, and the momentum swinging in the Wildcats' favor here towards the end of the first half.
31, Chris Roberts dribbling the ball over to the right-hand side. He gets it over to Evans. Evans with a three-pointer, no good. Rebounded by Jones. Jones pushing it up the court. Once again, drives, right-handed layup. It's good. And we're going to get a timeout by the Marian University Knights. Not a surprise whatsoever. The momentum has definitely swung the Wildcats' way. Highest it has been all game. We can see George's very nice right-handed layup. And that with a taped right wrist as well. So George Jones, the fourth, having a very nice night tonight. And we have seen that in the last couple of games. George is mainly, it's been in the second half, but he's having a great first half this evening.
Yeah, we talk about each time which Wildcat's going to step up and get big numbers. This time it's George Jones, and looks like Wildcats going to catch another break here as well.
And that foul on number 50 for the Knights, Matt Dickerson, the 6'7" junior out of Evansville. That is his first foul. It is now the team's seventh foul, so we go to the line. Taylor Schoen shooting a one-on-one. And he misses it, almost rebounded by Stauffer, but not tipped away. Wildcats still not shooting the best at the free throw line, something that we want to keep an eye on throughout the evening as well as the upcoming season. Chadwell moving to the right-hand side. He gets stopped. He kicks it out to Sylvester, who shoots. Rebounded by Stauffer, who kicks it out to Troyer. Troyer over to Vandewater. David Peters acts like he wants to take the three, which he doesn't do a whole lot. He backs it off. Into Stauffer.
Nice backdoor.
Nice pass to Vandewater where he's wide open. That, Tim, the encouraging thing to see is we saw this group of players out there earlier in the game, and they weren't really doing a whole lot, but now they're very, very effective against the Knights.
Yeah, double team on Stauffer there on the inside. When you got a double team on one player, somebody else is open. That time it was Vandewater. Nice layup by him.
Evans moving the ball around, though. The energy at which they're moving has definitely slowed. They're not moving the ball anything like what they did at the beginning. Sylvester kicking it out to Roberts. He takes a shot, no good. Rebound by the Wildcats. Things are definitely going the Wildcats' way. Vandewater, short pull-up jumper, no good. And the ball will be out on the Wildcats. 1:06 left in this first half. Wildcats have a 30-19 advantage.
Well, and when you think about the score, way back at about 9 minutes left in this first half, it was tied 15-15. So you take the next 8 minutes, a 15-4 run gives you the full advantage that the Wildcats need, and they're definitely showing why they're a number 2 ranked team, something that we've seen in bits and pieces of other games and never seen really a full game put together yet.
Look at him, run a chain.
Evans bringing the ball up, and we're going to get a foul on number 10, David Peters. That is his first, and that is now the Wildcats team 7th. So number 14, Aaron Evans, will go to the line to shoot a 1-on-1.
Yeah, Peters a little too aggressive out in the front court. A foul that could be avoided, but refs call it, and now Knights making free throws.
So Evans is good with his first free throw. He's the junior guard, 6'2", out of Indy. And a second free throw is also good. Tyler Greathouse, number 20, now in for the Wildcats. He gets the ball into DJ Bettinger. 55 seconds remaining in the half. 9-point advantage, and we're going to get a foul.
Ooh.
Almost the same of what we saw on the other end. This time, though, however, number 12, Alex Sylvester, charged with the foul. That's his first. And DJ Bettinger will go to the line shooting a 1-on-1.
Yeah, the ref's definitely calling it even on both sides, and that's the one thing you don't want to do on either side is get a foul called over in the backcourt. That's a coaching no-no for any team.
Bettinger makes his first. He'll get a second. 10 points is the difference in the game. Bettinger makes his second. Nice to see the Wildcats hitting both of their free throw opportunities. Evans bringing the ball up, pressing. He keeps it. He shoots. No good. Stauffer rebounds. It's good for the Wildcats. Hopkins been on the bench now for the last couple of minutes. Stauffer doing a great job there on the inside.
Yeah, and as soon as the Wildcats got the board, Coach Tonico yelling, one shot, one shot. So we'll see how well they go with that.
And Vandewater moves the ball in. The shot clock was still on, so they might as well have taken that shot.
Well, and when you get position like Vandewater did, he was able to get around the Knights defender. You've got to take it. You can't let gimmies like that go away.
11 seconds for the Knights. Stafford getting the ball into Evans. He shoots. And what are they calling it? They're going to say that it is off the fingertips of the Wildcats. And so the Marian Knights will continue. Taylor Schoen coming in right now for defensive purposes. Tyler Greathouse having a seat. So number 12, Alex Sylvester, will be inbounding the ball for the Knights. Good defense so far. Gets it into Stafford, who drives. 2 seconds. He shoots. No good. Rebound by Schoen. And that'll do it for the first half. So the Wildcats at the end of the
effort overall for the Wildcats at this point, and in an MCC opener, you always want to try to make a statement. We'll see if the Wildcats can try to build on this 13-point lead.
I would have to say we talked in the very beginning of the game whether or not the Wildcats would show some rust after having not played for 8 days, and I think at the very beginning of the game we saw that. But they're now back in the rhythm, and the Knights start the second half getting the ball. Number 40, Jake Stafford, getting the ball on the inside to number 14, Aaron Evans. Very nice pass and a nice layup.
Yeah, backdoor cut there by Evans. He was able to get the ball up and in the hoop, and that's what the Knights need to do. They need to get off the dribble, move quick, and attack the basket. They'll be able to stay in this one.
George Jones driving in, however, hands it off to Patrick Hopkins. He goes up. The ball is tipped as well as he gets fouled by number 44. That is Dwight Cliff. Now that is his third. He sat for a lot of the first half because of picking up his second foul. And we already are seeing here number 50, Dickerson, getting ready to check into the game. So Cliff will sit on the bench with 3 fouls.
Yeah, Hopkins has been quiet today, but he's played a huge part with his foul trouble. You see here on the replay inside on the post. 44 Cliff was just not able to kind of keep with him. A little bit of contact here by Hopkins, but that contact on the arm, you got to keep your hands down, and the Knights player was unable to do that.
Patrick Hopkins with his second shot. He makes them both. We can see the inexperience of the freshman of Dwight Cliff, because very quickly picking up 3 fouls, not a great way to begin the second half. He's having a rough game.
Yeah, and that's something the Knights could love of his inside presence, but they're not going to be able to deal with that, though. Other players will have to step up here for the Knights in this second half.
Chadwell tossing it to Dickerson. The ball goes back into Dickerson. Nice turnaround move. And boy, he was not happy. He picked up the foul.
Yeah, it was a close play down around the arc. You see there inside the paint. It appeared that Aaron Martin was outside of it. The ref did call it a charging foul. Dickerson ran square into him. Martin was set. It was a good call by the refs as long as he was outside of that arc.
Big long pass from Troyer trying to get it into Hopkins. However, the ball just kind of moved very slowly, and a turnover for the Wildcats.
Yeah, and inside Dickerson's got a long reach, so it's going to be hard to get those lofty passes over Knights players.
Chadwell out on the outside, getting it into Stafford. They kick it over to Dickerson. Back to Chadwell. Aaron Martin guarding him closely. This is Sylvester. Back to Chadwell. He drives, gets a nice move to the lane, and in spite of Hopkins' presence, the ball drops.
Yeah, Coach Grimes looking for a foul call as well, and there's a lot of reaching by the Wildcats. Well, they've got to stay in front of Knights players. They can't just stand around and reach for it.
Ball almost stolen by number 12, Sylvester, but David Peters holds on to it. George Jones driving in, and he is going to be charged with the foul. Wow, right here at the beginning of the second half, a lot of fouls.
Yeah, it's racking up quickly. Luckily for the Wildcats, they're a lot more balanced out on who has the fouls compared to with the Knights. The big men have it on the inside, so that's going to be a big difference right now at this point.
Aaron Martin has got 2 fouls, and the rest of the Wildcats, those who have fouls, only have 1. Dickerson, nice spin move, misses the shot, rebound by Hopkins.
When Dickerson gets that close, he's got to make those. Those are bread and butter shots within 2 feet of the basket. You got to make those every single time.
Help! Hey, boy, Jay. Help!
Derek Troyer kicking it out to Jones, and the shot is good.
Yeah, you saw Troyer kind of attack the paint when it opened up, and the defense collapsed on him, and Jones was open for another bucket to add to his already impressive night.
Stafford driving in, kicking out to Chadwell, back to Evans. Evans trying to drive into the lane, isn't going to find any room. Back to Chadwell, takes the shot, no good. And Derek Troyer is going to foul number 12, Alex Sylvester.
Yeah, Troyer got his arm kind of caught up on Sylvester, kind of a foul he wasn't trying to do, but sometimes you get that in the midst of trying to get a rebound, you get tangled up, and a foul was called.
That's Troyer's second. That's the team second. Dickerson going on the inside, and we're going to have another foul. And this one is now on David Peters. This is his second. The basket is good. Dickerson, who is the leading scorer in this game for the Knights, he will go to the line and shoot 1.
Yeah, there's definitely a mismatch on that out-of-bounds play. Somehow David Peters got stuck with the big man, Dickerson, and it looked like Peters played him clean, but there must have been some contact to draw the whistle from the official.
Dickerson, a junior, forward, out of Evansville, 6'7". Rebound by, well, started to be Hopkins, and then Troyer got it. Kicks it out to Jones. Behind the back dribble, and a left-handed layup, no good. Hopkins with the rebound, and it is good.
Yeah, getting a little sloppy on the defensive end for the Knights. The Wildcats kind of doing what they want inside the paint. You saw the drive by Jones. Cleaned up the mess by Hopkins.
Chadwell driving to the inside, right-handed move, no good. Rebound by Hopkins. Hopkins, a little bit of, well, actually, he will be fouled by number 14, Aaron Evans.
Yeah, Hopkins was a little frustrated, I think, after the last possession. Was trying to take that all the way. He's lucky he didn't get an offensive foul called.
Aaron Martin takes a rest. Taylor Schoen in. Here's the replay of Hopkins coming down. Try to pick up the ball, kind of move the ball over, change hands, and that's where Evans fouled him. That's his second.
Yeah, it's not typical to see a big man like Hopkins dribble the ball down the floor at 6'7", 230.
That's why I was a little surprised it was a foul, because it just kind of looked like an ugly play.
Yeah, exactly.
Taylor Schoen bringing the ball in for the Wildcats, gets it to Peters, back to Troyer. Both teams with 3 team fouls. Man. Troyer, nice move to the inside, however, nice block by Dickerson. Stafford bringing the ball up, hands it off to Evans. And what are we going to do? We're going to get a foul?
Yes, we are.
Oh, that is third foul on number 10, David Peters. Peters starting tonight because of Jordan Widener being out with an injury.
Yeah, that was another close call there, just barely making contact with the hands of refs, or making sure they have complete control over this game, make sure it's not getting too physical on the floor.
Sylvester inbounding the ball. He gets it to Chadwell. DJ Bettinger in for the Wildcats. Chadwell getting the ball into Dickerson, and he is going to get fouled by Patrick Stauffer, number 24. That is his second and the team 5th. And I believe Coach Tonigal took the timeout. It's a full timeout, which means we're going to take a break. You're watching Wildcat basketball on WIWU TV 51. Kind of feels like the second half we haven't really gotten into much of a rhythm. However, after having played enough of this game so far, it seems to be that is the rhythm of the night.
Yeah, I mean, both of these teams got a game here right before the Thanksgiving break, and mine may be elsewhere, but right now they've got to focus on what's on the floor. They got to take it really one possession at a time. You don't need to try to think any more advanced to that. And the one thing that will become key here late for the Wildcats to maintain the lead and then the Knights try to get back is the foul shooting.
Dickerson missing his first, missing his second, rebounded nicely by number 40, Stafford. However, the ball is going to be turned over. Wildcats will get it back. So Schoen inbounding to DJ Bettinger. Bettinger coming back around, getting in the ball to Troyer. Jones driving in on Stafford, moving in, takes a shot, no good, leaves it short, rebound by Schoen. Nice turnaround jumper, the basket is good.
Yeah, Taylor Schoen in the right place at the right time to catch the offensive rebound. An extra possession for the Wildcats have helped them out so far in this one.
Stafford out at the top of the key, Jones guarding him, over to Dickerson. Dickerson tries to go down the baseline, throws it out and throws it to DJ Bettinger.
Yeah, Dickerson not exactly where his teammates were on that one, and bad pass leads to another Knights turnover. The Wildcats need to take advantage and try to extend this lead right now.
Troyer getting the ball into Stauffer. Turns around, jumper, and it gets a nice Wildcat roll. The basket is good. Yeah, now we have a 17-point lead.
Yeah, very friendly roll there for the Wildcats, but you'll take it right now.
And it looks like, unfortunately, a last touch the Wildcats, according to the ref, though it certainly looked to me like it went between the legs of Chadwell. Troyer and Jones taking a break. In right now for the Wildcats, Vandewater and Aaron Martin just checked back in.
Yeah, these next 4 or 5 minutes are going to be key in this one as the Wildcats have developed a 17-point lead, and we'll see if they can extend this and keep this in their advantage tonight.
Got a foul on that foul is going to be called on the Wildcats on DJ Bettinger. That is his first. Sylvester driving, gets it into Dickerson. He puts the ball down on the floor, gets that shot off against Stauffer, and the basket is good.
Yeah, Stauffer played that about as well as he could without fouling, and Dickerson just got the friendly roll on that one.
Vandewater driving to the center of the key, kicks it out to Bettinger. Bettinger looking for Stauffer on the inside. He continues to hold on to it, gets it back to Vandewater. Vandewater gets it to Stauffer, who drives on Dickerson. And it looks like they're going to call that foul on Dickerson.
Yeah, it looked like he didn't really have the feet set for the foul called, and when the contact was made, Dickerson kind of flopped almost. Wasn't able to get the offensive foul called, so that'll be another one on him.
That is his third, so now the two of the big guys for the Knights, both with 3 fouls. Dwight Cliff on the bench. Dickerson still out there. Aaron Martin getting the ball into Stauffer. Oh, and that was just
oh, man, come on.
Dickerson moved away. I don't know who he was going for, but he left Stauffer open momentarily. Stauffer, I think, was a little surprised at how open that was.
Yeah, that's one where you're that wide open. Oh, man, I don't know why Stauffer put it up there with so much force, but missed opportunity there. And then a sloppy foul will suddenly put the Knights in the 1-1 here with 14 minutes to go.
That foul was called on Aaron Martin, number 30. That's his third, and as Tim said, that's our team's seventh. So Dickerson will shoot a 1-1. He makes the first, and he will get a second shot. 14 points, the deficit for the Knights. Tim, I was thinking just a little bit ago, here we are just 2 days before Thanksgiving, and there are some basketball teams playing in the Maui Classic, and I'm kind of wondering why we're not there.
Yeah, I would love to take Hawaii weather right now over rainy, dreary Indiana.
That's right.
Oh, man.
DJ Bettinger passing it off to Vandewater, who gets it into Stauffer. Once again, he has a nice open lane. He chooses to pass to Schoen, and the basket is good.
Yeah, nice pass there as everybody was attracted to Stauffer, and Schoen was able to make the nice layup and keep this lead in double digits.
Evans continuing to hold on the ball. He kicks it over to Stafford. Back to Sylvester. Evans moving around, trying to get around Vandewater. Doesn't do it. He kicks it out to Stafford, who takes a three-point shot. No good. Rebound by Stauffer, and back to Bettinger.
Yeah, now this is a portion of the game we've talked about how Wildcats have struggled to finish games. If they can finish this one here, it'll be a big win.
Aaron Martin shooting three. I think he was really hoping that that would go the way he moved away from the ball. The ball is inbounds, though, to Alex Sylvester. He gets the easy layup, 2 points.
A sloppy segment there from the long rebound on the three to the save attempt, and then another turnover. This is getting a little, got to be careful here for the IWU Wildcats.
That's number 24, Curtis Clem, who has just come in just a little bit. First time his game. Dickerson going to have a seat. He looks a little winded. And number 44, Dwight Cliff, coming back in. We can see the replay. Not the best of passes from, I believe that was Aaron Martin that was trying to get it on the inside.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about the foul on that one. Yes, granted, there was body contact, but Vandewater was clearly going after the ball. I think that was just kind of wrong place, wrong time for 32 Vandewater.
Clem, he is one of the few seniors on this team. He misses the free throw, rebounded, shot up, no good. Troyer gets it, running down hard. Nice left-handed layup over Evans. Actually, over Sylvester. That basket is good.
Yeah, Derek Troyer shot out of a rocket on that one. As soon as he got the ball, he would know where he was going. He got the layup for the Wildcats.
Boy, the speed there was amazing. Stafford out at the point, tossing it over to Clem. Clem handing back to Stafford. Wildcats playing a zone defense, it looks like right now. Rebound by Hopkins. Oh, and just a little bit too hard of a throw. He was trying to get Aaron Martin. Coach Tonagel doesn't look real pleased with that shot.
Yeah, trying to do his best Aaron Rodgers impression, going for the deep touchdown pass and just a little bit too long. And another turnover for the Wildcats.
So we've worked in football references in Hawaii. And the Knights have a turnover. Number 14, Aaron Evans, losing the dribble. He was pleading his case to no avail.
11th. Go ahead.
Aaron Martin bringing the ball in, getting it to Troyer.
11th turnover there for the Knights. And this past couple of minutes, Mark, has been very sloppy on both sides. Thankfully, the Wildcats still have a 15-point lead.
Vandewater driving. He kicks it out to Greathouse, now in. He shoots three, and it's good.
Yeah, another inside out there from freshman to freshman. Nice shot by Greathouse, and extends this lead now to 18.
Cliff driving on the inside, and I think Hopkins is going to get charged with that foul. That is only his second. Team eighth, however. And we get some substitution. Number 44, Dwight Cliff, was the guy fouled. He has been on the bench most of this game in foul trouble. So he is going to the line. He's shooting a one-on-one. And he makes that first basket, and he will get a second opportunity.
The best thing going for the Knights right now is getting points when the clock is stopped. Now 7 of 12 from the foul line. They've got to continue to shoot at a high pace here.
Second shot, no good. Rebounded nicely by Patrick Hopkins, who wisely holds on to it as Cliff was moving towards Troyer. Troyer passing to Vandewater, trying to get it inside to Patrick Hopkins. It gets tipped away, and the Knights are coming back. Evans with a really nice move, switching to the left-hand side, gets a layup. And just like that, the Wildcats are moving down in their offense.
Little okey-doke move there by Evans to get the open layup. Nice move by him against the Great House defense.
11 minutes left in the game. And the foul is called on number 40, Jake Stafford. That is only his second, team fifth. So the Wildcats will bring the ball in. They get it into George Jones, who's inside. And unfortunately, Jones is going to be charged with a charge.
Yeah, I'm going to disagree with that one. I'm going to give the acting job to the Knights player on that one. George Jones barely made contact with him, and it acted like he got knocked over by a cliff. And so another turnover for the Wildcats. They've got to play through the adversity of the ref calls, though.
That is Jones's second foul. Evans with the ball, kicking it out over here to number 34, Derek Griffin, another guy we haven't seen until just recently. Cliff with the long shot, no good. Rebound by Jones. Jones kicking it out to Troyer on the left-hand side. Troyer over to Patrick Hopkins, pretty open lane. He drives, and he will be fouled. So number 34, Dedrick Griffin, the freshman, 6'5" out of Indy. Actually, he wasn't charged with the foul. Instead, they're going to charge it to number 44, Dwight Cliff, which is his fourth. So he has been in foul trouble all night.
Yeah, and it just continues from actually a poor shot selection on the other side here. You're going to see Hopkins try to attack here on the inside, and you could give it on 44 or 34, both coming behind and in front.
Yeah.
Could have gave that one either way for the Knights.
So Patrick Hopkins makes his first, 52-36, 16-point lead, and Patrick Hopkins makes his second. So Hopkins now with 13 points. George Jones, the leading scorer for the Wildcats, with 14. Stafford guarded by Jones, gets the ball over to Evans. Number 41, Eric Harris, back in for the Knights. Into Dickerson, who puts the ball on the floor, batted away by Troyer. Dickerson gets it, and then immediately the Knights call a timeout as this game has gone on.
Yeah, they started off well in the first 5 minutes of the first half. They moved the ball well, was playing good offense, but ever since then, been a lot of stagnancy, a lot of trying to take players one-on-one, not much team ball, and that's led to the deficit they're in now. And unless something changes, this is not going to go the Knights' way.
You know, the more I've watched of this game, at the end of the first half, the question was that 9-minute span where they only scored 6 points, did they just simply grow cold, or was there really good defense?
Right.
And I'm coming to the conclusion the Wildcat defense has just been stifling and has done a great job of really making it difficult for the Knights to get good shots off.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the players are just as tall, if not taller than Knights players. Got good wingspans to get after balls, and the good defensive pressure you see played throughout has helped IWU tonight.
Evans driving in, he kicks it out. And it looks like the Knights will keep the ball. Coach Grimes getting in some of his bench players here in the game. Looking for that combination of just the right players on the team that'll spark some kind of run. Nice inbound pass to Jake Stafford for the basket.
Yeah, the Knights are hanging around this 13 to 17 area. They've got to do something to get this one close. Meanwhile, the Wildcats need to stay aggressive on the offensive end.
David Peters trying to get the ball to Troyer. The ball is blocked, and consequently there's a turnover, and then number 41, Eric Harris, the freshman guard, he makes the basket, and immediately we get and there was really an unnecessary foul on the part of Tyler Greathouse. He came down and just really blocked, just kind of shoved number 34.
Yeah, it was kind of a back and forth shoving on both ways, and Greathouse caught the bad end of that one. The referee saw that, and now Coach Tonical trying to get a timeout, and he is just a little bit frustrated with the referees calling at this point.
Well, that was not the. It really was a poor move on the part of Greathouse, though. I think Tonigal is probably calling that the other guy, number 34, Dedrick Griffin, was at fault. We'll be back. Welcome back to Lucky Arena, where the Knights of Marian University have just inbounded the ball. Dickerson out at the top of the key. Harris guarded closely by Troyer. He tries to get it into Griffin. And they're going to call a jump ball that he was tied up.
Wait a second. Hold on here.
Yeah, we're going to see the possession arrow is in favor of the Wildcats. Nope. However, they are going to call a foul on number 20, Tyler Greathouse. So that's one of those things where both teams have been managed to be ticked off.
Yeah, here you see on the inside, Greathouse is going to go up at the same time. There's definitely contact worthy of a foul. I'm not so sure the jump ball is a good call there. That's a tough one for the officials to call.
Dedrick Griffin is the freshman, 6'5", forward from Indianapolis. He misses his first shot.
The Knights will have 2 foul shots. Every foul called against IWU from here on out with 9:14 to go.
Hopkins inbounds the ball to Troyer. The coach is wanting some full court pressure. Harris looks a bit confused. Number 41, he's the freshman guard. And unfortunately for him, he has looked a little confused through most of this game. Troyer going to inbound the ball now. Gets it to Hopkins. Wildcats have been kind of out of their offensive flow here in the last couple of minutes. So we'll see what happens on this possession. If they can get it in, they get it into Hopkins, who's moving in on Dickerson.
Nice cut.
Nice pass to Greathouse. I'm afraid Greathouse took just a little too long. However, he gets fouled by Griffin.
Yeah, a good backdoor pass there from Hopkins to Greathouse. Unable to finish the layup attempt, but the contact was made. Now Greathouse can shoot a couple from the foul line for IWU.
So Greathouse makes his first. Here's the replay of that. You can see it just feels like, well, we caught it just right after he had that open pass, but it just felt like it took him forever to move. Some of that is just his long limbs that just makes it look like he's moving slowly.
Yeah. Give him credit, though. He was getting the behind the defense. It's what you got to do as a player without the ball. You always got to keep moving.
Griffin getting the ball into Harris. I didn't see what the ref called.
Called traveling there,
yeah,
Mark.
Right.
One too many steps. 41 Harris was a little hesitant on what he was going to do, and now we got some full court pressure here by the Knights. It's kind of been stuck between 13 and 17 the entire time. Yeah, you want to do all you can to finish a game, but if the other team's not going to make any sort of push, I mean, you're okay with being up 14.
Jones getting the ball into Troyer, who's dribbling around some pressure. He gets it over the half-court line. They will now set up their offensive plays. Troyer guarded closely by Harris. Over to Greathouse, who gets it into Hopkins. Greathouse trying to get the open lane. Hopkins driving in. He does not make that basket go, and he gets fouled by number 50, Dickerson. That is his fourth. So Hopkins will go to the line and shoot 2.
And if my numbers are correct here, Mark, that would mean both big men now have 4.
It is.
4 of the Knights, so that's another big call.
Yep, Hopkins misses his first. Here's Hopkins moving in on Dickerson.
Yeah, and the arm, I mean, it was kind of up, not exactly straight up. I mean, that's a call that could go either way, depending on each trip down the floor.
Here comes Hopkins with his second free throw. And he gets a good bounce, good roll, and he makes that second free throw. Wildcats will show a tiny little bit of pressure, not really anything significant. David Peters guarding Evans. Evans drives all the way, shoots, misses, rebounded by Hopkins. Zings it out to Peters on the right-hand side. No pressure this time by the Knights. Taylor Schoen setting a nice pick. George Jones driving around the baseline, gets it to Hopkins. And we are going to get a foul against the Knights. That's on number 34, Griffin. That is his second. So Taylor Schoen will now go to the line.
Yeah, there was a lot of stagnant offensive possessions in the first half for both sides. Now a lot of crisp moving. They understand that this is getting down towards the end of the game, and every possession starting to become even more crucial for each team.
Schoen making his first of a one-on-one. He'll shoot 2. Patrick Stouffer, number 24, now coming in for Patrick Hopkins. Once again tonight, Coach Tonigal able to substitute and having a good deep bench, getting his players lots of rest.
And that's with Jordan Widener not even in uniform tonight, dealing with an injury.
That's the nice thing about having such a deep bench. But I would think, we haven't had a chance to talk with Coach Tonigal, but I would think early in the season he's got to like what he's seen from his bench players. Dickerson staying in the game with 4 fouls. He kicks it out to number 41, Harris. He makes the shot.
And just when you think the Wildcats could get this lead maybe to 20 or more, there comes another night 3, and we're back stuck at 14 for the lead for the IWU.
And I think this is what we mean by putting this game away. Stauffer, a nice inside move, gets the basket.
Yeah, Patrick was able to get what he needed in position. He was very deep on the basket, and a nice turnaround layup.
DJ Bettinger now coming in for the Wildcats. He will replace Derek Troyer, number 23. This is number 31, Chris Roberts. We saw a little bit of him in the first half. He's in for the Knights. He'll be inbounding the ball to Eric Harris. Harris taking his time, driving around the right-hand side. And we are going to get a Wildcat foul. And that is David Peters' 4th foul. We really have not, of course, he started tonight, so he's getting a little bit more playing time, but we've really not seen him with anywhere close to these number of fouls that he's got tonight.
Yeah, a lot of the ones that's called against him have been very going either way, so it's been a rough night for Peters, but he has stepped in to the big shoes of Jordan Widener and has filled them well, not necessarily on the scoreboard, but he is doing what the intangibles on the floor that you won't see in the stat column.
Number 44, Dwight Cliff, making his first free throw. The freshman with 4 fouls is back in the game, replacing Dickerson also with 4 fouls. And he misses his second free throw. The Wildcats will get the ball on a turnover. George Jones going to be inbounding the ball for the Wildcats. Full court pressure by the Knights. He gets it to Peters. Peters guarded closely by Roberts. And actually not that tough of a getting the ball over the half court. He just goes right down the line.
Yeah, the Knights are trying to get the pace of this one picked up. Down 15, they know they got to start scoring a little more quickly than what has been happening.
Jones driving on the inside, kicking out to Bettinger. Wildcats content to take some time off the clock. Nice pass to Stauffer. Unfortunately, he doesn't get the drop. And we still got both players kind of tied up there. So we'll see who this is. It looks like it's on 34. It is number 34, Dedrick Griffin. That is his 3rd.
If Stauffer could have made the 3 or 4 layups he's missed, he would have double digits. Only 6 points tonight, but a lot of missed opportunities for Stauffer.
And I would think he's got to be showing some rust here this evening. He played in the first 2 games, had some great play off the bench, and then was out with an injury. Here's that nice pass. And unfortunately, it just doesn't drop. He's having a hard time finding his touch and the range that he is from underneath the basket. So the second free throw is missed, but the Wildcats get the rebound. George Jones driving, missing. Tipped around, Schoen with the rebound. Nice round, also missed. Stauffer going up. Stauffer gets hit on the arm.
Well, we've mentioned football and Maui. Let's mention volleyball because nobody wanted to grab that rebound there, and it got tipped around and finally fell into a Wildcat hand. And here we are again. Stauffer back at the line for more free throws.
That foul on number 44, Dwight Cliff, that is his 5th. So he is out. And number 55, Michael Barton, the junior from Indy, 6'10". I'm not quite sure why we haven't seen him earlier. He certainly has the height advantage on us. Stauffer now at the line. He makes his first.
Yeah, it's just been a tough game for Cliff tonight, as you see here on the replay on the inside. That's just a foul you don't make. There's no reason why to reach in on the elbow or inside there. That's too obvious. And
Stuffer making his second free throw, and he is out, and Patrick Hopkins is in.
Yeah, so it's been a tough night for Cliff. Some other night players need to step up, though, now as the lead has we've broken the 17 barrier. We're back to 18 now.
Number 34, Diedrich Griffin inbounding the ball. He gets it to Harris. Harris guarded by Bettinger, just giving him a little bit of pressure, nothing real serious. Stafford now on the right-hand side of the key, driving in on Schoen. Get it out to Roberts. Griffin almost losing the ball, but he gets the ball out to his teammates. Now Eric Harris, pull-up jumper, and it's good. He's got a nice jump shot. This number 41, Eric Harris, unfortunately, at times he has looked a little lost on the court.
Wildcats just need to take their time here on this possession, work their offense, find the open man, and try to extend this lead.
George Jones for three. It's good. We haven't seen George make a shot in a while, and that was a beautiful shot to make.
Yeah, 17 now for George. He got the spark started in the first half. Now kind of a cherry on the cake there with the three-point shot.
Rebounded nicely by Vandewater. He gets the ball to Bettinger. Bettinger over to Jones. He's going to try it again for three, and it's good.
Another three-point basket for George Jones, and we've really seen it all from Jones the fourth tonight. The inside and outside presence, now 20 points so far.
And the big man taking the ball against Hopkins. Nice turnaround jumper, and he makes the shot. Michael Barton.
Yeah, the Wildcats have finally gotten out of the teens and finally have gotten this up into 20s now. See if they can continue to keep the momentum going here in the final 4 minutes.
Ball into Hopkins. However, the ball is bounced around, and it's going to go back to the Knights. We have a new Knight in, number 42, Jake Sullivan, junior forward out of Brookston, Indiana, 6'4". Stoffer now replacing Taylor Schoen. We're down to 4.5 minutes, and yet the game already has the feel of like the final 2 minutes of the game.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how the Knights and Wildcats are handling these final 4 minutes.
Eric Harris pulling up, jumper no good, rebound by Barton, and he loses the ball.
And that may be one reason why we don't see Barton in the game more is he had the rebound cleanly, but as he tried to do anything with it, the ball just fell out of his hands and rolled out of bounds.
So Vandewater bringing the ball in, and we're going to have a timeout by Coach Tonigal. And it's going to be a full timeout. So with a 20-point game, this is the opening conference matchup for both of these teams. And in fact, now we're starting to see fairly soon some bench players for the Wildcats who haven't seen any action tonight. Number 11, Darian Michael, getting ready to check into the game.
One thing just to note, just over the PA announcement, the IWU girls team won by 30 tonight down in Indianapolis, 79-49, so a good performance on the women's side as well.
Patrick Hopkins trying to get the ball into Stouffer, and the ball tipped away. Stouffer also seemed to get his leg knocked into or something, because he's limping around a little bit, and of course I think he had a leg injury which kept him out for about 4 or 5 games.
Yeah, that's why he's going to go ahead and take a seat and make sure everything's okay with that and put Hopkins in here for the final 4 minutes.
Jones also taking a seat, so Hopkins still in, one of the starters. Tyler Greathouse in, Vandewater in, Bettinger in, and then Darian Michael, who we haven't seen until this evening. Bettinger with a three-point shot. It's good.
That was just kind of a pull-up shot there by Bettinger. Not really an offensive play, to say the least, but hey, he's on the board now with that three-point shot.
Harris getting the ball, number 42, Jake Sullivan. Harris again, Chris Roberts, long three-pointer, and it's good.
Yeah, I think it's starting to get to the point, though, of too little too late here for the Knights, as it's still at 20. Never really have made a strong run in the second half to try to show that they want to win this one.
Patrick Hopkins trying to get it to Vandewater. Vandewater starting to cut inside, and the ball is tossed out of bounds, so the Knights will get the ball back. Hopkins takes a seat.
18th turnover for IWU. Not as many compared to the Ohio Christian game a week ago, but still a stat that is above average, typically only about 13 to 14 a game for the Wildcats.
Number 5, Garvin Hoy in for the Wildcats, his first action of the evening. Number 34, Griffin, guarded by Vandewater. The ball is tipped around. Vandewater is coming up with it. He kicks it back to his teammates. Greathouse comes up with it, then off to Bettinger. Greathouse, top of the key, he drives. That ball is blocked by number 55, Barton. Eric Harris dribbling around the outside, guarded by Hoy. Roberts over to Griffin, getting it into Barton. Greathouse, big mismatch there height-wise. Griffin shooting, rebounded by Roberts to Harris. Takes a couple of big dribbles, and they're going to count that basket.
Nice drive there by the Knights player. Kind of a little off balance, was able to get the friendly backboard there to get the bucket. He'll try to get one more at the line.
We haven't had any fouls called in the last couple minutes, and there we go. Darian Michael, number 11 for the Wildcats, picked up his first foul. Eric Harris now going to the line to shoot one shot. The basket counted. And that ball goes high, does not drop, and the ball will go out of bounds off the Knights. Wildcats will get the ball.
Yeah, a stat not in the Knights' favor tonight, under 52% shooting from the foul line, just 9 of 18. Actually, excuse me, right at 50%, so it's something that could have used some improvement tonight and maybe kept this game a little closer.
And what's that has really dropped here in the second half, because the Knights were shooting 80% from the free throw line at halftime. Michael driving around. Nice, fairly good open Greathouse. However, that presence, that 6'10 presence on the inside, kind of tough to shoot around. Gets blocked again. Tyler Greathouse throws his hands up like, what am I going to do? This guy's 6'10". However, Greathouse is not short.
No.
He's 6'9", so there's only a 1-inch difference between the two big men. Minute 48 left. Harris to Roberts, another three-point shot that Roberts put up. No good. Hoy with the rebound, tries to get it over to Bettinger. It goes off the foot of number 42, Sullivan. So the Wildcats will be inbounding. A little confusion between Bettinger and Hoy as to who inbounds it. So number 5, Garvin Hoy, the sophomore from Leawood, Kansas, getting the ball in. However, not the best pass. Gonna get a little bit of a collision there, and that foul will be called on number 13, DJ Bettinger, his second.
Yeah, and as soon as that play happened, Bettinger went and talked to number 5, Hoy, that trying to work out that inbounds pass. With this full court pressure, you can't just simply throw it in. There's got to be a little bit of ball fake going on as well.
Dedrick Griffin with his first free throw, no good. Rims in and out. 18-point difference with a minute 38 remaining. Number 11 now, Drew Adams, the sophomore guard from Evansville. He is checking in. The two cities that Marian has recruited heavily from, Indianapolis and Evansville.
It's interesting. You get from the center of the state and then entirely down south. So it's kind of interesting recruiting process. But Coach John Grimes has been doing this for 36 years. Pretty sure he knows what he's doing. And he's got a very strong Knights team. I just think they're a little bit young and coming into a tough road atmosphere, and it's kind of got them tonight.
I think it shows a lot too about the non-conference schedule. You really, it's in a sense a preseason for all the teams. You really can't tell a whole lot until you get into conference play.
Yeah, and this is the 4th team out of the 7 so far IWU has played that has some sort of votes in the poll, whether they're actually ranked in the top 25 or getting votes, compared to this is the first game against a ranked opponent for the Knights. So that's a drastic change, and that really is shown now, and that's what Tonical wanted to see here when we got into conference play.
Greathouse with the 3 from the top of the key, and rims in and out, no good. Rebound by 34, Griffin. He runs into number 5, Hoy, and it is going to go the direction of the Wildcats.
Yeah, it wasn't exactly set there to take the offensive foul, but I think because the player was so out of control there that you had to call it there. You're going to see it here as 34 Griffin is driving. Neither one really set or in any sort of control. When the ball bounces IW's way this time.
Michael getting the ball inbounds for the Wildcats, guarded closely by Chris Roberts. Michael almost steps over and back, but he fortunately did not step over. He drives all the way. What a nice right-handed layup.
Nice to see him get some points on the board there. It was an interesting way to get the ball up court, but as soon as he got past the timeline, he was going straight to the bucket.
Now we're down to the final 45 seconds of this game. The defense for the Wildcats continues to be good. And the coaches for the Marian Knights continue to teach here as we, and that's what you do with a young team like this. We're going to see this nice layup by Darian Michael.
Not much defensive pressure on the Knights end as well. The lane kind of opened up there. Nice layup by Michael.
Ball is inbound to the Marian Knights. Three-point shot from Adams, and it is good. He's only been in the game for just a little bit. So he got the three-point shot, and then he gets the foul.
Can't discredit him for the effort there. It's something you don't want to do, foul the player 80 feet from the basket. But Knights have played tough tonight. It just not bounced in their favor.
So number 11, Darian Michael, the junior guard from Avon, Indiana, goes to the line. Misses his first shot. And I have a feeling we need to look here at the free throw percentage. Actually, much higher than I thought it would be.
Yeah, about 80% tonight for IWU, just under that at 19 of 20, 25. Pretty decent showing from the foul line, much better than what we've seen in recent games.
Shot clock off, we're down to 19 seconds. Marian is holding onto the ball, trying to get a shot. Number 42, Sullivan driving, missing the shot, rebounded by Bettinger. The Knights will back off the pressure. DJ Bettinger will walk the ball over to the half court. The Knights concede defeat, 75-58. That is the final score. So the Knights pick up their first loss of the season. The Wildcats now move to 7-0. Great start to this season, a great start to the conference game.